Hey guys, NPS Explorer back with another video. Subscription video. I haven't done one in a long time. Was doing a number of outdoor adventure boxes with my wife for some time. She was subscribing to nomadic boxes and a few boxes aimed at women specifically. Both of us have kind of been out of the subscription box game since sometime early last year, before we brought our new addition to the family. And this year for Valentine's Day we decided we would get ourselves our own gifts, and we're trying to do something unique for ourselves. And I was kind of curious about a new subscription box I'd seen called Battlbox. There's a number of tactical outdoorsy themed boxes, a number of which are touted to be have items procured from reputable tactical companies and names you know and love, and some of which the websites and boxes are put together by veterans or various paramilitary professionals, which is kind of cool. You know, there's a suggestion you're going to end up with something better that's been seen war, seen challenges in the outdoors. And I don't really know what it was about Battlebox that struck me. It seemed a little bit different. A lot of these boxes are rather pricey. Perhaps one of the, and I mean, let's be real, some of these boxes, if you're into firearms, outfit you with a number of accessories that might be useful and might not. I'm probably at my stage with firearms that I know what works for me. I know how I want the firearms I own accessorized. And I'm not really interested in a box of what could end up becoming junk and filling my house with a bunch of stuff I don't need. So as a scout leader with both my kids, I am in the outdoors a lot. I do a lot of hiking, climbing, high adventure-y kind of activities, and so things that might be practical to add to my pack and give me an advantage, or perhaps someone in my family an advantage, is probably more attractive to me at this point. So I'll cut to the chase. I entered the game with Battlebox at each box is themed a mission. This is mission 49. And the way Battlebox works, probably what makes it a little more attractive than some of these other tactical, military, outdoorsy themed boxes, as far as they go, is the fact that there's 4 tiers, which is a little unusual, and they pretty much guarantee you that you're going to at least double the value of your investment. So your return on investment in gear is twice what you put into it, which is considerably more than a lot of subscription boxes, just as far as they go in general. You're going to get an advantage, you know, with Cairn and some of the smaller boxes. On average, you're going to drop $30-35 into a box every month, and if you're lucky, you're going to walk away with $50 or $60 worth of gear. There's been exceptions to that with Cairn and some of the other boxes where, you know, maybe they come out with some really cool item they stuff in your subscription box for the month, and you end up with something more, you know, for $35 you walk away with something in the range of $100 or more. So the way Battlebox works, again, 4 tiers. There's a basic tier, which is $29 a month, a advanced tier, which is $59 a month, and the Pro Box, which is $100 a month. And, you know, if you want to go all out, just trying it out, wanted to see if this was, you know, for real and legit, I went with the Pro Plus, $149 a month. I just basically, the way it works, you fire up a subscription, put in your credit card, and then once your box ships, you cancel the subscription. It's no big deal. You know, you're not in for the long haul. There's no long-term commitment. You can cancel at any time. You can do 1 month, 3 months, and cancel your subscription, and you're still good to go. But they offer a lot of things that are tactical and prepper-like, but serve a purpose in the outdoors and hiking, backpacking, and camping. Which, as we all know, if you do it with any kind of regularity, you will inevitably lose gear. You will loan it to your kids, they will lose it. You will break it, you know, drop it, ruin it, or you maybe you have a setup for winter camping, backpacking, and you have one for summer, and you know this tool or item is more practical for one season versus the other. So it is what it is. So let's just get into it. So before I get into it, I will say that I filmed this entire video earlier this evening and put a lot of effort into it. Did it outside. One of the items definitely has a purpose to be used outside. And unfortunately, I really don't have the time to go through the whole thing again, so this is a little bit quicker version. I've already opened the box at this point and already talked about all the items, so it was a good first run through. And you know, now that I've had, you know, a little time, a few hours to digest what I've already spoken to, maybe I'll have a bonus to add to this. So right off the bat, the way this works, if you subscribe to the basic subscription, for example, this month, you get 4 items valued at $67. If you go to the advanced or second tier, they add an item to the original 4 in the basic box. In the advanced tier, if you go to the third tier, they add yet another item, and if you go to the Pro Plus, the 4th tier, then you get an additional item. So a lot of boxes, you know, along these lines, you know, if you go with the high-end subscription, you get pricier gear, cooler stuff, maybe not necessarily any more items, and if you go in the lower tier, you end up with cheaper stuff. I'll give Battlbox credit that this is a little bit different. You're basically getting the same and more of high quality items as you progress up the chain. So the first item we start with is the Be Smart Get Prepared First Aid Kit. I had never heard of them before this box. Not to say they're not any good. I'm very well acclimated with Adventure Medical, and probably my favorite first aid kit lineup is My Medic. My Medic is super high quality, very diverse range of kits, but not to say this is not a good entry level, fairly comprehensive backpacking first aid kit. It's got, you know, a few over-the-counter items, aspirin, non-aspirin, an array of bandages, insect relief, antiseptic wipes, all packaged nicely up in 3 different pockets here. Things I look at in a first aid kit, especially with the outdoors, a good first aid kit to me, aside from most everything that's in here, triple antibiotic ointment, 4x4s, 2x2s, some gauze, an ice pack, a rescue blanket is definitely a practical thing to have. Backpacking, as you consider survivability in desolate conditions. I also like lots of cotton in here because it becomes a good flammable fire building supply of things in the worst case scenario in a last ditch effort. But I'm also critical of things like tweezers. 2 things that are most likely to happen in the outdoors is you get a splinter or you get a tick in the woods. And unfortunately this kit falls very short with its offering for tweezers. These are very cheap plastic tweezers. Not to say that a lot of first aid kits don't come with crap like this in them, As you can tell, they're not perfectly straight either. They're a little warped. I like a precision tweezer with a very fine, almost sharp tip on it. Otherwise, you're really not going to do the job when it comes to a significant embedded splinter or an embedded tick under the skin. So, would I buy this? No. Would this be an outstanding first aid kit for a new scout in scouting? Absolutely. As far as a first aid kit for scouts as required by the handbook, this pretty much fits the bill. So this would be a great, for $24 retail, this would be a great first aid kit for a scout shop to sell, quite frankly. It's almost in scout colors, not that that really matters, but it's very condensed in a nice little pack, which for backpacking purposes, the biggest challenge in scouting is getting kids transitioning from Cub Scouts to, I'm just calling it scouting now that girls are able to be involved in what was Boy Scouts. Now it's scouting BSA. As scouts transition from younger age scouting to more mature scouting, they struggle with condensing their gear into a smaller bag and not dragging everything but the kitchen sink with them on a camp out. So there's that. So not too bad. Definitely worth the value of the investment in this kit. I'm not saying that these guys necessarily do a lot of backpacking, but it is what it is. And you know, part of the reason of trying these subscriptions is to get an array of gear and see if it works for you or not. Next item on the list, which I was pretty curious about, is the and this came in pretty fancy packaging. See if I can get that focused in there. This is the Zippo Typhoon Match Kit, which came in a pretty spectacular package, which I've since thrown out since filming the video and thinking I had it all captured and losing all the content I initially shot. But it comes in an absolutely fantastic container. As you might be aware, most fireproof matches, waterproof matches, usually come in a fairly small container, fairly standard size. This is about 5 times the size of that, as are these matches. These are just, they're like miniature logs. Absolutely ridiculous. Standard match size being about like that. And they are heavily coated with waterproofing and ignition helping material on them. And not only do they give you this fantastic container that has a O-ring seal, the striker is actually in an enclosed compartment on the bottom to keep it nice and dry. And they also give you a replacement striker adhesive sticker decal. You can peel this off, put another one on, and you're good to go. So it's going to, the striking surface of this kit will definitely outlast the matches you have in it. Really cool idea to throw in a kit like this. Completely happy with that. That retails at $11.95 according to the outline of the box. Next we have a Lord and Feel Trail Notes leather notepad. Very nice little leather book. Love stuff like this. It's just, you know, nice, kind of fancy, durable. Not the fanciest notepad inside. Got a small graph paper notebook, but this leather will probably last you the rest of your life. For field purposes, you would really have to beat the living hell out of this to do any damage to it. It's very thick leather, doubly stitched throughout. If you wanted to minimize and not carry a wallet while you're in the outdoors, you could put cards in the on the front and back cover. Very happy with this. This retails for $27.99, which I can believe given the quality of leather here. And then last in the basic tier is the Scout Organic Roasted Pumpkin Seeds. These retail for $2.39, 9 grams of protein, 170 calories. Roasted pumpkin seeds in sweet Texas barbecue flavor. Not too bad. Love stuff like this in subscription boxes because I usually toss it in a Ziploc bag in the top pocket of my backpacking rig, whatever I'm carrying. If you're out on the trail and in between meals, and you need something to keep you going, or you know, you get a little hungry, it's good to have a few choices. I like little peanut butter pouches, but stuff like this that you can munch on the trail while you're taking a little stop are great to have. Okay, so next we go to the advanced tier. This has, again, $107 value. All the items I've already listed, plus the Battle Tack Bubby Poncho Liner Blanket Sleeping Bag. Now, this took me a minute to look over when I initially shot the first video of this, which will take me a lot less time to explain it this time. Basically, you've got a water-resistant stuff sack and a nice camo pattern, and what you see here is a very minimalist, very basic sleeping bag that's relatively thin, but it's completely waterproof. So if you were on the Appalachian Trail, or you were high adventure packing it out, backpacking, as you might know, in the warmer months, you're really not going to need much of a sleeping bag at all anyway. A lot of people will do the AT when it's hot, say, you know, they just like threw their sleeping bag on the ground and had it open the whole time, and were sleeping with next to no clothes because they were so uncomfortable and hot. So this would be perhaps, you know, something you might use in lieu of a regular sleeping bag. This could be fully opened and thrown over yourself as a base camp poncho in lieu of a raincoat. So very, very practical item. Very happy with this. Don't know that I would have gone out and sought something like this out, but definitely a compliment to my gear. Probably one of the least expected items that was going to come along that I didn't know I needed. So very happy with that. Next is the Pro box, which then, if we add the next item, we come to a value of $187. This includes the Rascal Survive 55 Takedown Bow. This is the first release of this bow. Never thought I would ever need something like this, nor would I proceed to go out and buy something like this, but from a survival perspective, this thing's pretty wicked. I did shoot it in my backyard when I initially assembled it. It fires pretty accurately for what it is. I'm not gonna lie. And it's I'm not going to fully assemble it and shoot it this time, but I will vouch that it is designed and functions exactly as it should. So you have this metal handle that serves as a storage for both sides of the bow. As you can see, there's slots on either side with almost like a rivet that once you place each bow arm in each respective side, you pop that rivet, so to speak, in place to brace it and hold it. But this is a little flimsy until you put the bow string on, at which point, once you have this under tension, it's not going anywhere. And these basically just slide in, like I said. Your string goes around both ends, obviously. In order to get this on, these are almost like a bendable, very heavy-duty fiberglass, and fairly durable. And once you assemble this, I mean, it's full size, and you know, you've got quite a phenomenal bow for as compact a setup as this is. It comes with 3 arrows, which are all 2-piece. I'll show you one of those. Here's the bowstring. These arrows flew very nice for me. Shot them across the yard with very little effort. These all just screw together. Fairly decent. Little arrows. You know, not something I've ever really thought about. I'm not a hunter by trade. Probably not going to find me out in the woods bow hunting or carrying a bow for any reason, but would I carry this? Hell yeah. You know, if you think about being stuck out in the wilderness in survival mode, and you know, you were trying to find something to eat and needed a mechanism in order to kill and secure yourself a meal, this would certainly be a way to do it. So that is that. This particular item was the reason that, although I ordered this box the second week of February, I received it today, over a month later, which is not allegedly typical of Battlebox, and what made me a little frustrated with them, especially that this all occurred during my first order. But this item in particular was back ordered, as it was a launch item from its manufacturer, Rascal. You know, which is the case with some launch items. Things just go wrong with subscription boxes from time to time. Excuse me, it is what it is. But very cool, very practical. Definitely take it with me out in the wilderness. Oh, and so that takes us to the 4th and final tier, the Pro Plus line. The Pro Plus adds on the Knife of the Month Club. In this case, the item of delivery was the Bastion Gear Baron, very first release, Sanmai Damascus Steel carbon fiber scales solid brass bolster knife, retailing for $119.99. I'm a SOG knife guy by trade. I have 3 SOG knives, actually 5 SOG knives. Used to have a number of Swiss Army knives that were given to me when I was a scout, that I've since given to my kids. So I don't really collect knives per se. I know guys that do, but basically all the knives I have a pocket clip. It's really the only kind of knife I'm going to carry these days. Fortunately, this one came with a pocket clip. Like this knife a lot. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's your brass on the top. If you're an auto or motorcycle enthusiast, you'd appreciate that carbon fiber. Very nice. And the blade itself is beautiful with this pattern on it. I don't know how well you're gonna see that, but it is a very nice knife. Won't be passing this one off to my kids anytime soon. Don't know how down and dirty I'll get with this, but for a nice everyday carry, this is great. So all in all, I'm pretty content with the Battlebox. Like I said, might try it again if I caught wind they were going to issue something super cool that I just couldn't live without. Otherwise, I'm certainly not going to spend $150 on a subscription box. Again, nice experiment, fun to try. I might do the basic level at some point again for $29. You know, that's kind of what I'm really interested in spending if I'm going to do any more subscription boxes. Again, this was kind of a special one-time thing. Do I think it was worth the money? Absolutely. Do I feel like everything was practical for me? Probably didn't need another first aid kit. It is what it is. Like the trail snacks, the notebook was nice. Love the poncho sleeping bag. That was that and the knife, quite frankly, probably rounded out the value of the box as far as what I spent. So I think I got my money's worth. The bow is very cool. Would I go out and buy something like that? Probably not, but you know, what the hell? It's a nice thing to have. You know, if nothing else, something to leave in your car. Maybe you're out in the middle of nowhere and you got stuck and your car died and there was no help coming. Certainly a practical tool to throw in your trunk. I mean, why not? I carry a pretty comprehensive first aid kit and a defibrillator. Why not just carry a bow with me as well, right? So that is that. Any questions, please comment below. I'm glad to help fill in the blanks. Again, the only discouraging point of Battlebox was the major delay in shipment, but it is what it is. Oh, and again, a very practical item. The Typhoon matches from Zippo. Definitely, those coupled with the poncho, sleeping bag, and the knife, definitely worth the investment I made in this box. So go check them out at battlebox.com. In Battlebox, leave out the E. Just Google it. It'll be the first thing that hits your browser. Again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like below. And stay tuned. Haven't been on any really awesome national park adventures anytime recently since Puerto Rico, but we got some things going on this summer, so stay tuned for a lot more adventures and exciting things to come. Thanks again. Take care.